Why? You might say, well, I want a career in art, or I want to be a writer, or what I want is to be happy, or I want to have $1 million. But the question is, why? Why do you want it? You see? And you'll find that what you really, really want is what everybody else wants. But if you put words to it, you goof it up. You see, many times we say what we really want is truth. And that's the truth, really. What we really want is truth. But we have ideas what truth is, so it's best to leave it, not to discuss the word truth. Because the moment you use the word truth, you have an idea what truth is, and then you have a concept, and you live from that concept. Truth is so all-encompassing that any words you put to it are a prostitution of truth. Because truth is. Now that's what we want, that is. So we can say that what we truly want more than anything is a feeling. But not an emotional feeling. You know, whether you're a drug addict, whether you're an alcoholic, whether you're in love, or whether you love something, it doesn't matter. You love your children or your family. What drives you for that feeling? You see? Are we understanding what that feeling? That feeling is like, we can call it the feeling of being in love. That feeling of total and complete inner security and inner safety. But even they fall apart when you compare it to what it is that you really, really are. You see, it's being called bliss. In the Lord's Prayer we call it heaven. You see? So, you know, we can call it the kingdom of God within. But these are words. Because even when a person becomes, quote, totally enlightened, and they are in love with it, because it is not something just you can never say they've arrived. When Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi was asked, you know, and he was passing away from the body soon, he was, you know, he was saying if he's there home, he says, yeah, he's home, but he's still growing. It's still there is no end to this incredible isness, you see? And in the beginning we don't know it. So we're happy to be happy. You see? You know, we get $1 million and we're happy for a week or so, you know, until all the neighbors want something from us. Or you buy a new car, a Ferrari, and you're just great until you get worried about being scratched, somebody stealing it or making payments. So in other words, we have moments of being happy and fulfilled, but they're temporary. But why is it so important? Why do we want it? Why do we want to be happy? Why do we want to be fulfilled? You see? Because we can't help it. It is our true nature. And there's no limit to that. So that feeling is. Now how you begin to discover that? By asking yourself, what is it that I really, really want? And being honest. Now if you happen to be very physical, then you're going to come up with something physical. And it's okay, because you're being honest. You see? You might say, well, what I want most right now is a drink. You're being honest, if you meant it. You see? Or right now what I want is to buy a home. That is fine. But what you begin to know what you really, really want from that is by asking yourself, what do I want a home? You see? I want it because it gives me a feeling of comfort, security, safety. You see? Makes me feel good, somewhere to go home. So it's always driving us towards that. Now, when you begin to question everything, what is it that I really want from this? You find there's something deeper underneath, pulling you. You see? And that something deeper is the very understanding, because that, when you begin to question everything that you want, and enjoy it, leave it there, don't overcome it or anything, but see what is deeper, what is driving you deeper into it, you'll find that becomes surrender, automatically. What you really want is that surrender. Surrender is making that shift from the human to the being, but never getting rid of the human, because the human is necessary. The human is the reflection, is the mirror that you need to keep refining. You see, to keep refining that the way home. Okay. I've come up with some questions, and I'm very happy to see that there were two of you that also have written some questions. And this is great, because when you ask these questions, you begin to understand also what surrender really is. Why? Because there isn't a question that surrender doesn't answer. I'd like to start with this one. Okay? One of you asked, the first time I came here, I felt like I was in love for 3 days. Since things have been coming up from the subconscious in a big way, things, I'm having a little trouble reading this. Things are not processed, and I'm wondering, or feel like things are coming up to be looked at and felt deeply. Could you speak about this? Oh, this is beautiful. This is very, very good. Yes. You see, when you start discovering who you are, yeah, you start falling in love. You start feeling happy. You start feeling that love coming alive in you, because that is the very nature of being. Being is a totality. Every one of you is a being, and there's only one being. We're different humans, but one being. You understand that, right? Right now, the one, and I repeat this, but you can never repeat it enough, the one who is looking right now is not who you think. It's not who you think it is. It is the being itself. There's only one being. That's called love. Now, when you make your mind up who it is, that is, oh, I am seeing, I am this and this, okay? Then you're putting thoughts, concepts. But the seeing itself, without a thought, without a belief, without an agenda, just seeing itself, the very seeing itself, the one who's experiencing right now is the being. And then when that being is still, is not conceptual, it is called being in love or loving. You see? Because love is the oneness, okay, the totality. So, when we begin to feel this in the beginning, and we feel that love growing inside us, you are really coming home, so to speak. Or we can use the word home for what it is that we really want. It is really our true home. You see? But we have been conditioned in a very human way. All you have to do is put the TV on or read a newspaper and to see how we are conditioned. I mean, even now, if you read the paper, there is news about war with Iran possibility, you know. I mean, there are many things that are frightening that are happening in the world. So when you get caught in the world, the human part of you starts coming up with 1,000 questions that you haven't resolved yet. So even though you're beginning to feel the love of your being, yet the conditioning, the upbringing, the religion that you've been brought up in, the tradition, your nationality, the way the parents brought you up, all that starts to surface. It surfaces because it needs to be met. Okay? So it's beautiful that it rises. And sometimes it can arise as a fear, as a problem, a deep question. Some people say many times, oh, I got it, I got it. It's as if it's over. That is just the beginning when you get it. Because then a lot of questions start to arise. Questions that have to be met. And as you meet each question with surrender, each question takes you deeper and deeper into understanding.